Can you believe Mario Party has been around for over 20 years? Nintendo brought the fun of tabletop games and mixed in the Mario universe to create one of the most chaotic spin-offs of the franchise. If kids thought that fighting games at the time were competitive, they had no idea what was coming with this friendship ender. The very first title in this series holds a very unique place in the history of Mario Party. As it was the first in the long-running party games, there was a lot they needed to figure out. Board designs, space variety, and the value of a coin were all very much experimented with. A lot of these elements would not be further refined until the sequel, but some aspects that we look back on fondly, and sometimes fearfully, was the key ingredient that made Mario Party stand out from any board game out there: the minigames. Hello everybody, so good to see you. We're gonna keep it simple and straightforward today, ranking the first Mario Party's 50 minigames from my least favorite to my favorite. Keyword, my favorite. This isn't any greater list of the whole crew or anything, it's just mine. As such, opinions may differ, and who knows, you might be seeing a lot of minigames that you've never seen before, because this is the first time on NSO that Mario Party is being released outside of the original N64 cartridge. We've only ever had that happen to Mario Party 2. Part of the reason is because some of these minigames are a bit problematic. I'd like to make a list for all 3 Mario Party minigames, and this one is probably going to be the most chaotic. I want to remind everyone that unlike other Mario Party games, you can actively steal coins from opponents in several minigames, sometimes a very substantial amount. In most cases, it's in 1v3 where either the single player gets 5 coins from the other 3, or the 3 get 5 each, and the single player loses 15. Or in 2v2 where the winners steal 10 coins each. There's many minigames where you can earn more than 10, but also some very dastardly ones that can destroy your coin count. I'll bring up those notable ones as we go along. These games are being rated on the basis of: how many coins can I potentially get from this minigame? And how much fun do I have in this minigame? This is also not counting the Bowser variations you would find during the board games. With that, we can start with the less than exciting ones. Pedal power. This is the most basic of all minigames that wants to hurt you. Put the control stick in your palm and grind it out for about 10 seconds of suffering. You don't even get to suffer with your friends, you have to suffer alone. Paddle battle. Now take that very same palm grinding and distribute it equally amongst all your friends. Aw, that's better. Except, not really. The single player's influence is equal to the 3 separate players combined, so I guess it's not that equal. Brace yourself, here we go again. Even worse than losing your skin is losing coins because you're too tired or in pain to keep going. You're richer, but was it worth it? Tug of war. Much like in Paddle Battle, the single player in the Bowser suit has more power, so it really comes down to whether the team of 3 is pulling their weight or not, and the Bowser will get 15 coins if they win, stealing 5 from the 3, or lose 15 and distribute 5 to the others. Usually lasts a bit shorter than the previous mentioned minigame too. Ground pound. Give your palm a break because this minigame is so easy. You see the full answer from the beginning, and even if you didn't, you can still peek behind the butterflies. And beyond that, there's just so much time on the clock that it's impossible to lose. I'm just so bored. The balancing of difficulty in this game was not the best. Even the name is, really? They called it ground pound? Where's my pop culture reference? Where's my alliteration? It's an easy 10 coins, but it's a minigame for 4-year-olds. Limbo dance. I've never felt so bullied by sticks before. Tap the A button to hop along and bend your back just a little further to proceed under these limbo bars. It is so hard to tell if you're going to hit the bar with some characters, like with Yoshi's big honkin' schnoz. It does warn you if you're about to fall back too far, but this animation coupled with the lower and lower bars just gets me so clenched. Pipe maze. Pick one pipe after watching the trail very briefly to give you the solution, and the one who has the chest delivered to them wins 10 coins. But here's the thing, it's a 1v3 minigame, which means only the single player plays. I think this is the only minigame in Mario Party where 3 characters don't do a single thing and they just watch. Crane game. Despite the goal being to give a lucky person a big hug, this is one of the meanest minigames in here. The single player is the only one who can benefit, and the others must be wary if they have a high coin total. And that's because if the single player snuggles you all the way to the crane, you're gonna lose 1/3 of your coins. But if the math checks out and you benefit more from getting a chest, then that's a guaranteed 10 coins. Although that would mean 3 players didn't get to play again. Problems like this get fixed in the sequel, don't worry. Slot machine. Okay, listen, we don't gamble, and I've definitely never gambled on this channel before, so that means there's nothing to talk about. Except this minigame! I'm pretty sure the slot machine icons are lined up the same each time. When you get one symbol, it'll actually be easier to get sequential symbols. Aim for the Mario hat, that's 20 coins! It's tricky at first, and is one of those minigames you'll really need to repeat to get the hang of. Deep Sea Diver. So we're not done with rotating the stick just yet. If you're swimming, you gotta mash the A to dive deep. There are chests with 1, 2, 3, 5, and a full 10 coins at the bottom. Once you grab one, swim for the surface while the player in the boat has to and help their partner all the way up. It's cool from a cooperation standpoint, but there's little variety and half the players will be hurting by the end. While we're still reeling in, let's talk about Castaways. Probably the best stick rotation minigame. There's a lot of factors to weigh in here. You can pull the control stick back at 3 different distances, correlating to which of the 3 rows your line will cast to. Pull it back all the way to get the back row. Pull it back about halfway and it'll go to the center. People have the most difficulty getting the center row. Lastly, give it the tiniest little tilt for the front row. You can make serious bank once you get the hang of the timing, but when it comes to pulling your line back, whether you got coins or not, you still gotta... Musical Mushroom. This minigame is part of the not very hard or long minigames. As soon as the music stops, you can start moving to the center mushroom to get your chest. Note that getting to the center is not the goal. You also have to jump and touch the chest hovering above it, but you can literally hold the direction the entire time for a perfect start. It'd be different if there was a penalty for moving too early, but it's as straightforward as you can be. Bombsketball. It's weird to think that a certain demographic group of people's first basketball experience in video games is this one, and it's not very easy to control. We're obviously not going for NBA grade physics here. The jumps are floaty and passing feels like a shot in the dark at best. If you're close enough, you can slam dunk it in there. Oh! I would insert a cultured basketball reference here, but I don't even play sports ball. I'm sorry. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I know sports or not. I'm ready. I watch Space Jam! Knock Block Tower. I'm starting to remember how short some of these minigames are. Jump and hit the wooden blocks. If you hit a thwomp, it's a loss. There's a pattern here. The thwomps will alternate from both rising up to just one rising up. Try to make sure you're not attacking while they're moving, unless you're that much of a boss. And mind the time limit, you only have 10 seconds. Coin Shower Flower. I think this would be higher, if not for the fact that if the middle character has really good balance and control, they could collect every single coin and leave the other 3 to sadly float on their leaf and collect nothing. Amazing for, and totally in favor of, the single player. And if you fall off, it just ends. Really? You can't let the 3 players enjoy some spoils? It's so rigged! Mario Bandstand. Hey, a rhythm game. It's a pretty basic one. The single player conducts, tilting the control stick in time with the outlines of the notes, while the other 3 need to tap the button in sync with the music. Those with the best timing win. It can be quite the symphony of music. Look, music making isn't my strong suit. I'm sorry. Handcar Havoc. Okay, I was going to avoid relating any returning minigames that appear in Superstars, but this one is an exception. In both games, you button mash to accelerate and lean your handcar inward to avoid falling off. Both players' inputs are integral. But do any others find it very hard to just finish this minigame in Superstars? It feels like it's impossible to stay on the track the whole time, whereas this one feels more forgiving. I found that in most cases, you'll probably want to lean inward when you pass these panels on the track and then let go when you pass them again. It's frantic, chaotic, and you'll be putting a lot of faith in your partner. Keep Away, one of 2 co-op minigames where you work together to meet a goal. Keep the key from the Koopas, jump and pass if necessary, and if any one of them grabs the key, you all lose. But honestly, if you have the key, you can solo this minigame pretty easily. It's very short. Or, if someone is about to have enough coins for a star, you can sabotage the whole team as well. Will you be the one to open the door? Memory Match. I usually group this with Ground Pound because it's mostly the same setting and very basic, but it actually doesn't give away the solution at the beginning. For every pair of icons that you match, you get 2 coins, and clearing the whole board gets you 10. Uncover Bowser and you'll be stunned for a bit. It's amusing, but at least it's not a game for 4-year-olds. Now it's for 5-year-olds. Piranha's Pursuit. This is one of those minigames where I don't know if it's truly balanced or not. The single player has to mash B to skate away and press A to jump over obstacles, while the 3 must water their plant and encourage it to take a bite out of your enemy. If the single player is experienced, it can be very hard for the 3 to coordinate watering the plant below and have it catch up. However, a single mess up could cost them the game. You can also style on your opponents by grabbing these vines. I never knew that until years later. Ghost Guess. This one can make you think. You gotta touch the first boo in the crew that moves or you lose. Sometimes it's really obvious, and sometimes I'm second guessing myself until the time is nearly up. The shadows will also help you out if you need it. You just gotta take a deep breath and not panic. Bowl over. We're going bowling. This minigame balances out some of the ones that leave the single player at a complete disadvantage, as the 3 this time are the ones that cannot win any coins in this. You've got one shot as the bowler who can conveniently control the shell to an extent. Every character that you hit will give 5 coins to the bowler, with any extra pins giving you 1 more coin. The trend of sticking characters' heads on random objects in this series was really a blessing and a curse. He's fine, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't hurt Yoshi. I wasn't sure where to put this one. Bumper Ball Maze is a unique minigame you can get by completing Minigame Island, and is the only minigame not available to play during a regular board game. You can only play it single player from the minigame house. Still, it's as you see. Tilt the control stick to balance out your ball across the obstacle course. And there's 3 variations of stages to complete. It's a fun little distraction that you might play only a few times and move on. Teetering Towers. There really is something about certain single player minigames that give me anxiety. This one has you standing at the edge of these thin towers as they lean over from one to another. You might find some difficulty timing your jumps at first, particularly when and where to jump. Just make sure you jump as far as possible in each one, as it's impossible to overshoot. And look out for those extra coins. Once you get a handle on the rhythm, it should be smooth sailing. Shell Game. I love how minigames can go from something simple like ground pound to one that can take a rather careful eye. Simply put, the treasure chest will shuffle around and around and you gotta hit the right one. It's not too difficult, but blink at the wrong time and you might lose track. Seeing all those coins explode out is just so heartbreaking. Skateboard Scamper. Here's one for the button mashers. Quickly tap B to move and A to jump over the thwomp obstacles, not being distracted by money. While you might assume tapping fast is the key, that doesn't apply for the majority of the race. Your speed is capped, and it's not until the final stretch that the cap comes off. Did I ever mention that button mashing minigames are my favorite? Look, when I button mash, it's like, I don't know why or how to explain it, I'm just built like this. Bash and Cash. Alright y'all, I thought long and hard about where to put this, and I decided it's just gonna go in the very middle of the list. This minigame, oh god, pray that you don't ever see this minigame if you're the single player. The character in the Bowser suit needs to run and jump because every time they get hit by a hammer, a 5 coin bag pops out and anybody can collect it. This goes on for a long 30 seconds, and if the player manages to avoid contact with everybody, they get nothing. There is no benefit to the single player at all. They are meant to lose, and if you're playing with friends, you're doomed to probably go broke. I mean, it's great when you're one of the 3. You can make so much money off of your friends suffering. And isn't that like the core of Mario Party? Coin Block Blitz. This minigame is like the most Mario minigame ever created. Jump and hit the coin blocks. Some will contain a single coin, while others will have multiple coins. So if you see somebody getting a haul, we encourage you to interrupt them. This is the very first minigame I ever remember playing, so it's kind of special. Yeah, for some reason I didn't go down the pipe the first time I played. I specifically remember going, ooh, raft, and going to Minigame Island first. I had a weird attention span. Desert Dash. I hope you and your friend have good coordination. You must tilt the control stick left and right, alternatively, to slowly slide up the desert sands. When one character makes an input, the other has to do the same input within about half a second. But who would actually use skis as a form of travel like this? This was like a form of punishment, not a game. Tightrope Treachery. It's definitely treacherous, but for the single player. The 3 players have to hurl cannonballs at this poor soul to either make them fall into the water or time out. That can happen more commonly if you think if the sailors can time their hits and almost lock your movement in. And even if they hit this indestructible rope, it'll shake and disorient you. This minigame is bullying, but it does improve a little in the sequel. Hot Bob Bomb. Also with a fair amount of bullying, it's the Mario version of Hot Potato. Pass the bomb around until time runs out, and the loser gives the others 5 coins each. You could pass the bomb right away, but you can also hold it for a moment like a mischievous little party pooper that you are. You can also collaborate to make someone else miserable by targeting only them. Keep those coin counts in mind. Grab bag. Oh boy. Learn what your friends really think about you and your friendship as they run behind you, grab your bag with intentional, malicious intent, and steal 5 coins as they mash the button. Either tap the button to defend yourself, or steal it right back. There is no limit to how many coins can be stolen. Take control of your finances. Buried treasure. Tap the A button to dig through the dirt in search of a single treasure chest. The arrows are meant to help you along, but I'll be honest, this one isn't really fair. The chest will be closer to some players more than others, with the arrows being your only chance. Don't dig through the rocks unless you have to. Those can take a long time to push through. Running of the bulb. This is the other of the 2 co-op 4-player minigames, and definitely the more interesting. You have to babysit a light bulb through an auto-scrolling hallway, avoiding and punching boos out the way. If you get caught, you'll be possessed and be drawn to the bulb. If the bulb carrier gets caught, they'll move to the big boo at the bottom, which will cause a loss. Also, beware of thwomps, although they're probably the least of your worries right now. Reach the end and you can all get 10 coins. The thing is, if someone is out there to sabotage players from getting said coins, they can easily act out of line if they grab the bulb and cause the game over. Who can I even trust anymore? Whack-a-plant. Oh, here we go, the big money maker. Jump on the piranha plant's heads for 1 coin each. 1 more plant will appear from the formation of each round, and you will need to position yourself accordingly. Hold the A button to leap across the grid, or leave it unpressed and coast through a line of adjacent plants. Play perfectly for an amazing 36 coins in 1 game. This completely ignores all Mario logic. You're not supposed to jump on these plants. The ones in this minigame can't hurt you at all, but remember, under normal circumstances, these plants will end you. So be kind to nature. Platform peril. How confident are you in your jumps? Because you'll need to perfectly and precisely proceed over plentiful, precariously plummeting perilous platforms. Please watch your step. Listen, these shadows don't make much sense, but use them to your favor. Stay focused, dodging the brick blockades with your eyes focused on the goal and oh, coins! Reach for the extra cash at your own volition. I'm not responsible for what happens to you. Shy Guy says, Captain Shy Guy is here to ask, how long can your attention span last? Tap the button of the flag the Shy Guy raises, or be cast into the endless sea. He'll try to dupe you, so beware. The input time will also decrease as the game picks up more and more speed. It's truly a test of your attentiveness and reaction, because the minigame will go on forever until someone wins. Shy Guy's got nothing better to do. Raise those flags. Box Mountain Mayhem. Attack the blocks for coins. Some will bounce you all the way back, but they might also contain more than a single coin. No, I haven't mentioned it much, but I love it when these minigames reference other Mario games, like these bricks from Mario 64. You have other options, like jumping, kicking blocks, and ground pounding your rivals, but it's more beneficial to go straight for the money. Unless you really need somebody to lose, you can bully an enemy endlessly for the entire match, sacrificing your own money in the same process though. It really depends on how much chaos you want to spread in your life. Hot rope jump. Oh, we're getting to the classics now. Make 20 jumps as the speed increases in this very dangerous game. Wow, can we do this with like a normal jump rope instead? Oh, trust me, you're fine. It's only a hot fire. Alright. Contrary to popular belief, you aren't at a disadvantage at the front or back. If you all complete the minigame, everybody gets 10 coins. But if someone hits the fire, you lose coins. So watch your step. Treasure diver. Here's a fun little free-for-all. Grab the chest below and bring them up to the surface. You can only salvage 1 at a time though, and hitting the sea life will make you drop it. Oh, that's a real shark. You also gotta watch out for drowning, as with deep sea divers. Go for the biggest chest first, as they have more coins of course. And watch out for your surroundings. The bigger the chest, the slower you'll swim, so you'll want to adjust your timing. Hammer drop. Watch as this hammer bro maniacally trolls the entire crew with money. Then hammers, then money, then more hammers. It's like life's biggest metaphor. Sometimes you jump with the A button to get that money. Other times you get the hammer to the face. But you keep on going, knowing that there's another money bag waiting for you until someone steals it from you. Then you proceed to jump on their head. Oh, and be careful not to fall off. You won't return for the rest of the game. Don't be too greedy. Coin block bash. This is basically coin block blitz, but with more ways to vent your anger. The single player has a big hammer that can smash a block with one vertical swing, or slam the bejesus out of you with a horizontal swing. You can break the blocks yourself, but that takes so many hits, and nothing is stopping you from walking over and punching the hammer out of your opponent's hands. You're super slow with the hammer though, so there is some give and take. And we're here to take. Slot Car Derby. I know some people loathe this game, but it's pretty fun when you get the hang of it. Tilt forward to go at full speed. Make sure you're not going at the max speed at the red and white areas. That's where you're most susceptible to spin out. This minigame also has 2 potential tracks to race on. The game also appears in the sequel with even more tracks. They know they have a good minigame. Bombs Away. This minigame is the epitome of running and jumping around while panicking and crying out loud, "I don't know what I'm doing." You can only move and jump, so try and stay in the middle as much as you possibly can while the cannonballs bob and tilt the island. Or at least I want to say that, but sometimes the cannonballs will hit the island directly, blasting you off instantly if you're in range. Everyone that survives the time limit gets 10 coins. It is pure chaos and I'm here for it. Crazy Cutters. Guide your comically squeaky jackhammer along the outline, tracing it as accurately as possible. That can be tricky going one way over the other, because your character will eventually block some of the image, but keep in mind that they're perfectly symmetrical. I feel like sometimes this minigame might not be properly counting your tracing. Have you ever been pressured to draw a perfect circle before? This is like the Mario Party equivalent of that, as in it's a lot harder than it looks. I'm an artist, this should be easy! Tipsy Tourney. This is a pretty short minigame usually, but I like how you have to learn the physics of the shell as you run around, uncovering the image as fast as you can. Do you focus on the middle first? Get the outlines first? There's no wrong way to go about it, just a pure short game. Bobsled Run. One of the best 2v2 minigames in Mario Party. After mashing the A button for a head start, you're both sliding down the track, equally responsible for turning and aiming the bobsled where needed. And it's a lot more aggressive than it looks. You'll be slamming into each other, giving death stares and dirty looks as you try to overtake the other. You might just fall flat off the track, in which the other team still needs to complete to win. Balloon Burst. The concept of tapping 2 buttons alternatively would be used in so many different forms of minigames throughout the entirety of the Mario Party series. And it started here. Use one button to pull up the pump, and when it flashes, push it back down with the other button. Do this, but fast, over and over again. You never know who might steal the win at the end. I think part of the reason I like this so much is because of just how silly it looks as everybody frantically exercises their desire for Bowser inflation. Maybe word that one a little bit differently. Although I am a little concerned about how often Bowser is inflated in this series. Facelift. Oh, we're not done disfiguring you yet, Bowser. This is simply the most cursed and fantastic idea for a minigame. Take the goofy, stretchy Mario face from Mario 64, which was supposed to be like its own tech demo, and turn it into a minigame. This concept and execution is unrivaled. Most often, you'll be tasked with stretching his face all the way with one of the applicable points. Deform that Koopa just right and you'll come out on top with the most points. Oh, and don't be rude and put your hand in the middle when you're done. Who would ever do that? Oh, finally, we can all pinch those cheeks of his. Who's a cute little monstrosity only a mother can love? And the last two, Bumper Balls. The balls are back in play. What? Bumper Balls isn't first? Alright, hold on. While it's definitely a joy to bump balls with the bros, it's not really very exciting when it comes down to 1v1, as you might end up in a stalemate. Do you risk going around the perimeter gaining speed? If your opponent can read you, you'll be out of luck. This is undoubtedly a classic, even if it didn't get first. It's still in second. That's pretty good. And finally, Mushroom Mix-Up. At the top of the list. What looks like an innocent game of Simon Says quickly turns into one of the most frantic running around and panicking in a minigame. You might form an alliance 1 second, then betray them the next, with a little luck of which color gets chosen thrown in. You can also ground pound your rivals and cause massive screaming rage. It's perfect! Especially when it speeds up and the madness begins to settle in. In the end, after all that's said and done, this is Mario Party. This is the essence of Mario Party in one minigame, and so, here it is at the top. Honestly though, I feel like people who enjoy more chaos and fun from their minigames will put bumper balls first, and that's fine. That is fine. Those who enjoy showing off their skills and being more competitive might put this one higher. Or maybe not. It's all a matter of opinion and perspective, and I respect it. The original idea was to do the rating of one Mario Party set of minigames per NSO release. However, Nintendo decided to release 1 and 2 together. What can I do? Even so, I still want to address every minigame that was in the N64 era of Mario Party games. So what are your favorite minigames? Is this the first time you're going to be playing the very first Mario Party on NSO? Let us know down below. Was that you, Shy Guy? You're saying I missed the game, but we covered all 50. Wait, you're not talking about... Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see a similar rating for Mario Party 2 and 3, then by all means let us know. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that fun stuff. Every little bit helps. We're on Twitter, Patreon, Twitch, all the links are below. Hope you all enjoyed. Till we meet again. Oh my god, where did all this ketchup come from?